Maple Hollow was the kind of place where everyone knew each other's birthdays, where the only traffic lights blinked yellow after 9 p.m., and where people left their car keys in the ignition at the post office just in case. So when Nurse Emily Carter vanished after her late shift at Birchwood Community Hospital, the ground beneath the town seemed to tilt. She was 29, gentle, soft-spoken, the type who stayed late on double shifts and brought warm blankets before patients even asked. People didn't go missing in Maple Hollow. Not like this. On a rainy Thursday night, Emily clocked out at 11:43 p.m. The grainy surveillance camera in the staff parking lot showed her unlocking her silver Corolla. She got in, headlights blinked on, and then she simply never arrived home. No calls, no pings, no signs of a crash. At first, police suspected she'd been followed from work. Something violent, random, opportunistic. The town held vigils. The hospital staff passed around missing posters. Her co-workers sobbed through interviews. Her elderly patients prayed aloud in their rooms. But as investigators widened the lens, the puzzle pieces began to feel deliberate, not random. Detectives learned Emily had recently ended a relationship, quietly, as she did most things, but the breakup had been messy beneath the surface. There were late-night texts, calls she ignored. A co-worker recalled Emily once whispering, "I think I'm being followed. I just don't know by who, him, or someone else." That line caught the detective's attention. Emily had also been requesting schedule changes. She started taking unfamiliar detours on her way home. She began carrying pepper spray. At church, she sat in the back row instead of her usual front left pew. All small shifts, but shifts born of fear. Her ex was questioned immediately. His alibi, grainy bar security footage, put him across town. He looked guilty, but not in the right way. Angry, yes. Controlling, maybe, but surprised by her disappearance. There was another man too, a patient's son who'd become too friendly. Flowers at her station. Long pauses in the hallway. But his phone data cleared him. Everyone suspected a stalker. Everyone was wrong. 12 days after she vanished, a cadaver dog hit on a scent trail near the river. Search teams followed it toward a secluded property, a farmhouse tucked behind old pine trees. It belonged to Dr. Mason Hale, the respected ER physician who'd worked alongside Emily for almost 4 years. He had been the one organizing the candlelight vigil. He had volunteered first during search efforts. He had given emotional interviews to local news, his voice breaking at her name. When detectives searched the barn, they found a torp, restraints, and a discarded hospital ID badge, hers. Emily hadn't been taken by a stranger. She had been taken by someone she trusted. Mason wasn't jealous. He wasn't obsessed. He wasn't in love with her. He was terrified of her. 2 weeks before she vanished, Emily had confided in a coworker she was thinking of filing a report against an unnamed doctor, someone she believed had been stealing controlled medication from the hospital supply room. She never said who. She didn't need to. Mason Hale had been diverting fentanyl for almost a year. She had found the discrepancies. She confronted him privately. She told him she needed time to decide what to do. He knew exactly what she was going to do. His entire reputation, his license, his livelihood, rested on her silence. And when he realized she wouldn't stay silent, he made sure her voice never reached the board, the police, or anyone at all. Investigators found her remains buried in a shallow grave behind his property. Maple Hollow never recovered its innocence. It wasn't the brutality that broke them, it was the betrayal. A nurse dedicated to preserving life had been silenced by a doctor sworn to protect it. At the trial, her mother said through tears, "If she had been taken by a monster, I might have someday learned to breathe again." But she was taken by someone who smiled beside her every night. Mason Hale was convicted of murder and diverted substance tampering. He never looked remorseful, only afraid of the moment Emily had chosen truth over his reputation. In the end, she kept her promise. She did report him, just not the way he expected.